third Man United player to leave the club and be given farewell at Old Trafford. He could leave the club, according to a report. A third Manchester United player is set to leave the club and will be given a farewell at Old Trafford, according to a report. Man United confirmed that VARANE will leave the club at the end of the season when his contract expires. The veteran defender, 31, joined from Real Madrid in the summer of 2021 for £34 million. He's made 93 appearances since arriving in England, winning the EFL Cup. This season, he has been blighted by injuries. VARANE will call time on his 3-year spell at Man United once the 2023-24 season comes to an end. Anthony Martial is almost certain to leave this summer, too. He underwent groin surgery in January and failed to make the matchday squad for his side's fixture against Arsenal last weekend. The forward has played 19 matches across all competitions this season, scoring just 2 goals. According to The Sun, Wan-Bissaka will join VARANE and Martial in saying goodbye to the Old Trafford faithful in tonight's league clash against Newcastle United. The right-back has a year left on his current contract, but Man United are willing to listen to cut-price offers. He penned a 5-year contract following his transfer from Crystal Palace, who have been linked with resigning their former player. Wan-Bissaka, who cost £45 million in the summer of 2019, has made 187 appearances for Man United, including 27 games this season. The report states the club could settle for a fee of around £20 million while a t-shirt with an image of him lifting the Carabao Cup has been printed ahead of his farewell. A huge summer overhaul is expected following the arrival of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who is eyeing new talent ahead of the 2024-25 campaign. But he's also hell-bent on trimming the current squad to fund new signings. Man United prepare Wan-Bissaka farewell as exit nears. Wan-Bissaka has had 5 years at Manchester United, but it hasn't quite worked out for him. Manchester United have prepared for Wan-Bissaka's departure after a disappointing stint at Old Trafford with commemorative t-shirts for the game versus Newcastle. United are willing to listen to cut-price offers for the right-back to secure funds for a rebuild. Potential replacements include Jeremie Frimpong, with United focusing on upgrading the right-back position. Manchester United are preparing for many of their current stars to leave the club as a summer rebuild continues to dominate the headlines at Old Trafford following an abysmal season on most fronts, and that raft of stars leaving is reportedly set to include Wan-Bissaka, with a farewell planned for the fullback in United's game against Newcastle on Wednesday evening. Wan-Bissaka joined the Red Devils from Crystal Palace back in 2019 after a stellar breakthrough season in South London, with the Old Trafford club parting with a reported fee of £50 million to bring him to the northwest. Life in Manchester hasn't quite gone to plan for Wan-Bissaka, and having lost the right-back slot to Diogo Dalot, Wan-Bissaka has only made 18 starts for United this season, with the majority of those coming at left-back thanks to the injuries owed to Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia. A superb defender in his own half, Wan-Bissaka doesn't quite require the skill set of a modern fullback with crossing ability coupled with the knack of making a difference in the final third. And with his contract set to expire at the end of next season, Neil Custis of The Sun has suggested that United are planning for his exit on Wednesday evening, with t-shirts of him lifting the Carabao Cup being printed to thank him for his efforts in United's recent history. Wan-Bissaka, Manchester United transfer latest. Wan-Bissaka has been touted with an exit for a long time. The report states that Wan-Bissaka will join the already departing Raphael Varane and Anthony Martial in saying farewell to United on Wednesday evening, with a t-shirt being printed in his honour. The fullback will be able to leave on a free next summer, but United are willing to listen to cut-price offers to get him off the wage bill and secure some vital funds to spend in their rebuild. Wan-Bissaka has been a disappointment despite making 187 appearances for the Red Devils, and with Dalot having become first-choice right-back, an upgrade on the Portugal international could be sought after to massively increase their options on the right side of defence. Having been linked with former club Crystal Palace, the report further suggests that United will have to take a hit on Wan-Bissaka, which could end up being a fee of just £20 million to secure his services elsewhere. Varane and Martial have contracts expiring in the summer, and there has been nothing on United's end to suggest that the French duo will prolong their stays at Old Trafford. Manchester United are taking right rebuild steps. Manchester United have a lot of stars up for sale. This appears to be another good move from United. If they can receive a bid for Wan-Bissaka to buy replacements elsewhere, it would end his poor stint at Old Trafford and be put into a kitty where they can improve on the whole, regardless of position. Varane and Martial are on extortionate wages, and whilst Wan-Bissaka doesn't come as close in terms of his salary, he still earns £90,000 per week for United, and that in itself is another help in achieving their goals should he be relieved from the wage bill. Jeremie Frimpong is a name that has been touted as a potential man to come in for Wan-Bissaka, and with Dallot's defensive prowess and Frimpong's attacking excellence, the two would prepare United well for the upcoming season should the Dutchman sign. At least 5 Manchester United players could bid farewell during Newcastle game. Man United host Newcastle in their final match of the season at Old Trafford tonight, and here are 5 things to look out for. Can United end their Newcastle League hoodoo? The last time Manchester United beat Newcastle in the Premier League was the second coming of Cristiano Ronaldo. It was also the last time Steve Bruce managed Newcastle against his old club. Under Eddie Howe, Newcastle are unbeaten in 4 league games against United, winning 2 and drawing 2. They also humbled United in the League Cup 4th round at Old Trafford in November. United won the biggest game in last year's League Cup final, but the clubs have been heading in the opposite direction in recent weeks. Newcastle were 10th and 6 points behind United when the season resumed after the March internationals. Tonight, Newcastle could ensure they finish above United for the first time since 1977. Amrabat to maintain momentum? The game was all but done when Sofian Amrabat replaced Casemiro at halftime against Newcastle in the League Cup 6 months ago. The weekend defeat to Arsenal marked Amrabat's first league start since December 17, and it was also his finest performance for United. Whatever the defensive options tonight, Amrabat deserves to retain his place ahead of the walking footballer Casemiro. Should the Moroccan build on his weekend performance, then he has to be under consideration for an FA Cup final start. Fernandes to have an effect. If this is to be Bruno Fernandes's last season with United, it could end as it started. He could become the 3rd United player to collect the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year for a 3rd time, and United looked bereft with their captain absent for both games last week. Those were the first 2 club matches Fernandes had ever missed through injury, but he was assessed yesterday ahead of a possible return tonight. Cameras will be trailed on him for any telltale signs of a farewell. Raphael Varane will not play, but could re-emerge for his send-off. Johnny Evans is a certain starter, and it remains to be seen if this is his last game for United at Old Trafford nearly 17 years on from his first. Anthony Martial might surface, and Tom Heaton is also out of contract next month, staking a claim for cup final places. There are 6 certainties to start the FA Cup final: Andre Onana, Diogo Dalot, Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Alejandro Garnacho, and Rasmus Højlund. The rest depend on fitness and/or form. Ten Hag stressed last week he won't gamble with players' fitness, having done so with Luke Shaw in February and Lisandro Martinez in March. Martinez needs minutes this week, and, ideally, another centre-back would get at least 45 minutes across the games against Newcastle and Brighton. Terrible 10? Lose tonight and United will have lost 10 times at home in a season for the first time in the club's history. They have already lost as many matches at Old Trafford as they did when they were relegated in 1973-74. United have had tremendous backing of late, and the supporters are owed a proper performance. These days, one has to stress that extends to victory. Erik ten Hag satisfactorily noted the players had offered a response to the debacle at Crystal Palace against Arsenal, a game United lost quite comfortably.